Hey, everybody. As usual, it's been an honor for us to continue working and helping to provide a bright spot for fans in these difficult times. I, of course, am looking forward to my match tonight with Shaq and Red Velvet and Jade on Dynamite. And I'm also looking forward to talking about Revolution, the second iteration of Revolution. It will be nothing short of spectacular. You have the AEW Women's World Championship, the AEW World Tag Team Championship, street fights featuring Sting, the face of the Revolution ladder match, which I am in, big money match, Casino Tag Team Battle Royale, and then, of course, the AEW World Championship contested between the champion Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley, exploding barbed wire death match, and always. I love talking to you guys. It's a special part of my day. I get very excited about this when we get to do it. So let's just dive into the questions and get rolling. Thank you, guys.
All right, Cody, thank you very much. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to call on Connor Casey from Comic Book first, and following Connor will be Stephanie Francone from Steel Chair. So, Connor, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Cody, for doing this today. Really appreciate it. Regarding Revolution, you've got this exploding barbed wire death match as your main event. I'm just curious, how do you feel about death matches, and what do you think their current role and place in modern pro wrestling is?
Well, I think with a lot of things, AEW death matches have a certain identity that's already been given to them. If you look back at FMW and explosion matches that happened in the past. If you look at what Terry Funk has done, and then even fast forwarding to Matt Tremont today in this era, those are nice parallels. But anything that involves Kenny Omega is going to be unique in a sense, and it's going to have its own identity. And obviously, being under the AEW umbrella, I'm having to speak very vaguely about it because I've only seen the barbed wire that's starting to be wrapped. I don't have a clue how the explosions will work. I'm just as on the edge of my seat as everybody else is about it. I think, to me, the most important thing is the title itself, and that it remains in proper hands. As people know who followed the product, from a creative standpoint, Jon Moxley a little bit screwed out of his championship. Well, a lot screwed out of his championship, and what a wonderful reign he did have. Kenny Omega returning to form, the cleaner kind of re-emerging on the scene. No pun intended, it creates a very combustible and dangerous environment. This match would be going on last even if it wasn't for the world title because it's incredibly violent. Viewer discretion advised on a death match like this, but I'm just as curious as everybody else.
All right, thanks, Connor. Thanks, Cody. Okay, Stephanie Francone is next, and we're going to follow Stephanie with Jim Barcelone from Miami Herald. So, Steph, you're up.
Hi, Cody.
Hello, nice to hear from you again.
You hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, congratulations for the little girl to come. It's fantastic news that was announced on TV. I want to tell you about the big Paul Wight. Sorry. It was a surprise for many of us to find out that he was now a member of AEW. Can you tell me more about how things happen? And also, do you want to have more, I would say legends, but people with that experience like Paul can have? More people like that in AEW. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for your question. Paul Wight is a big part of my career, as some of you know, and then people who kind of studied our industry. We were involved in a WrestleMania together, and that that will always bond you in a unique way. The Paul Wight that AEW is getting is extremely, extremely motivated. I can tell you, there wasn't a long negotiation process simply because he wants to be here, very much so. And he wants to be here in a different capacity as far as announcing and commentary goes with Elevation. I do think there's a match, R2, R3, or 4, and that's just me personally because I know he's able to still go at a high level. But from a management standpoint, I'm most excited about him just being in our locker room and being seen, because we have so many young people who are now all of a sudden famous. Nobody knew who Britt Baker, Sammy Guevara, MJF, or Ricky Starks really were a few years ago, and now they are emerging on cable and across Warner Media, and they're the future of wrestling. They're all very important to me, and someone like Paul, not unlike how Sting has been, someone like that is really good to keep people grounded, to keep things in perspective. Paul Wight has more to give, and he's going to give it, and he's going to give it at AEW. So I'm very excited to see that.
Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, next we're going to go to Jim Barcelona from Miami. I'm going to ask Joel Torres from Contralona to be ready to go. Jim?
Thank you all. Thank you, Cody. I'm curious, talking about Paul Wight, and just what is it like, not only having him, but when you think about what he's done in his career, and now you're going tonight in a tag match against Shaq. Is it just coincidence that Paul just happens to be here now with that big tag match tonight? There's some history there between Paul Wight and Shaq. And what does it mean to have Shaq with AEW and having some people like that? You've wrestled Stephen Amell as well. What does Shaq bring or give to AEW as far as mainstream appeal and just getting more eyes on the product?
Well, the timing of everything is certainly, there's a lot of kismet involved, a lot of serendipity with that, but it is coincidence. Paul Wight is entering a different phase in his career, and Shaq has entered into what I guess would be considered a rivalry with him and Jade and myself and Brandy, who was unable to be part of this match because the greatest gift on earth, the fact that she's going to have a baby, Velvet stepping up to the plate in such epic fashion. For me, Shaq's presence and what Shaq brings is obvious. He definitely has a very large audience, a very large following. If you look at everything he's doing with Shaq Life, and you look at his world and all of his entrepreneurial efforts, he's really a model businessman. But for me, this match, I would like to see Red Velvet really, hopefully, emerge the star and hopefully emerge victorious of this. If anything, this match has presented a big opportunity for both Red Velvet and for Jade. Our women's division is continuing to grow. We're continuing to cultivate it. The Eliminator tournament that's happening, and to be able to, during a pandemic, cross the ocean to make it happen. But it was not easy. Tony Khan moved heaven and earth to get production in Japan, and he made it happen. So for me, this emboldens and bolsters our women's division. I'm not going to say anything mean about Shaq because he's entering a different world. If I was to step on the court and play horse with Shaq, it would be a joke. And I hope he's ready. I know he trained, and he's trained near me. But we'll see. I don't think he's got enough gas in the tank to compete with me.